Hello friends, back to our poem, What It Is Like to Be a Transgender. So, today we can discuss the left part of the poem. See, we were talking about the issues of a trans man, his childhood memories, how he has been insulted by others, and what he wishes to be. In his childhood, he was identified as a girl, and he was keeping the traits of a male. So, let us start the poem by Mokobe. It had nothing to do with hating my body. I just love it enough to let it go. I treat it like a house. So I have nothing to do with the hating body. Why I have to hate my body? It is not within my hand deciding the gender of my body. I just love it. I want to love it enough to let it go. What is let it go? To live. Anyhow, he has to live. I treat it like a house. No, it like a house. What is the imagery that used here? I treat it like a house. The body is compared to a house, and when your house is falling apart, you do not evacuate. If your house is in danger, it is falling apart, it is in the face of danger, you will not evacuate, you will not leave the house. Evacuate means leaving. You will not leave the house. You will try each and every aspect to protect that house. You make it comfortable enough to house all your insides. Even though it is in the danger, you will try to make it comfortable enough to house, enough to leave all your insides. You will try to make it more comfortable to live within it. You make it pretty enough to invite guests over. You live there and you will attempt to invite guests into that house. So you will prepare your house in that way, in a comfortable way. You make the floorboards strong enough to stand on. You make your floors strong enough that you can stand up there. So making your house comfortable, making your house fit for living, making your house fit for inviting guests, and making it so strong that you can stand upon. This is what he is trying to do with his body, making comfort with that body to live. My mother fears I have named myself after fading things. His mother can identify his problem. And what is she fears? I have named myself after fading things. Fading things. Fading things are, people who has died or committed suicide. So, he'll be one among them. His mother afraid that she can feel he is suffering a lot. She is afraid that he may commit suicide. As she counts the echoes left behind by, now she counts the name of the people, echoing the names of the people, trans people left behind. They committed suicide. Maya Hall, Leela Alcron, Blake Brockington, these are the names. See, to talk about Mia Hall, she's a transgender shot dead in Baltimore. And Leila Alcorn, she's American transgender whose suicide attracted many people into this trans issue. And like that, we have Blake Brockington, also American Blake Brockington, also American transgender man and transgender man, committed suicide. And Leila Alcorn is transgender girl. She fears that I will die without a whisper. Mother fears that he will commit suicide without even a whisper, without sharing that I will turn into what a shame. People will tell what a shame, he has committed suicide, he was a transgender. She is afraid of that, that people are talking about. Conversation at the bus stop, and he will be becoming what a shame conversation at the bus stop. Whenever people watches him, they will talk to each other. What a shame, such a fellow. He belongs to this, she belongs to that. They can't identify her gender identity. She claims, I have turned myself into a mausoleum. She says that I have turned myself into mausoleum. Mausoleum is tomb that you will bury your dead body. So I'm not a living creature. I have though she is physically living, she is mentally, she feels I'm a living tomb, that I'm a walking casket, I'm a moving jewelry. Casket means jewelry box. I'm a moving walking casket. News headlines have turned my identity into a spectacle. And she has been spotted by medias. Now she becomes news headlines, and her identity turned into a spectacle, an object. Bruce Jenner on everyone's lips, while the brutality of living in this body becomes an asterisk at the bottom of equality page. Bruce Jenner, American media personality and athlete, and she was very famous at that time. Now her name is on everyone's lips. Everyone talking about Bruce Jenner. How a girl can become such an athlete, and such and such qualities they are praising, while at the same time the brutality, the injustice of living in this body becomes an asterisk, a question mark at the bottom of equality pages. People are talking about gender equality, male, whenever gender equality has been talked, it is only within the limits of male and female. And when Bruce Jenner able to overcome that male female equality, she is able to overcome that boundaries. She has been in everyone's lips. And when it comes in the case of trans people, it becomes a question mark at the bottom of equality pages. And then male-female gender equality never tries to include the problems of trans people within their columns. No one ever thinks of us as human. What is the reason? No one ever thinks of trans people as human, because we are more ghost than flesh. Because people fear that my gender expression is a trick. People got such an attitude towards trans people. They feel that this is only a trick. Their gender identity is they are or dressing, their mannerism, that becomes only a trick that they can cheat people, and they won't believe this is biological. And people fear that my gender expression is a trick, that it exists to be perverse. And why it is she is keeping that male identity, even though she is born not born, is brought up as a girl, she is still having the appearance of a boy. It is exists to be perverse. It has to be changed into other side, that it ensnares them without their consent. Ensnares means it traps them. It traps them without their consent, without their permission. So her body, whenever people looks at her body, they will be trapped, they will be confused without their permission. They never think of trapping themselves, but they will be confused because they can't understand this mystery of the body, that my body is a feast for their eyes and hands, and once they have fed off my cure, and my body becomes a feast, a celebration for their eyes. They will enjoy it, and hands, maybe they use it. And once they have fed off my cure, once they left it, or cure means that strangeness of strangeness. So once they are just enjoy their body with the eyes, and sometimes they may use their hands, if everything is over, they will be fed off with this strangeness. Whenever they use that body, when they were enjoyed by watching that body, they will regurgitate all the parts they did not like. They will vomit. They will try to omit all the parts they did not like. Maybe some parts are attractive. Some people may like their face, some people did not like, and they will just vomit other parts they did not like. How trans people's body has been considered as a commodity. Sometimes if you like it, you can receive it. If you don't like, you can just reject it. They will put me back into the closet, hang me with all the other skeletons. He's just imagining they will put me back into this closed room. So she won't be, or he won't be able to identified as a common man or common people. It can't be they can't be counted as a common man, and he has to hide behind the closet. They will put me back into the closet, hang me with all other skeletons. There are a lot of skeletons. The dead body, the skeleton, decayed dead body of other trans pupils are hanging, it metaphorically talking, okay, not literally, hanging on that closed room, and I will become one of that skeleton. I'll be the best attraction, just an object of attraction whenever you are hanging my body there. Can you see how easy it is to talk people into coffins? Thinking about death. Can you see how easy it is to talk people into coffins? Coffins, the place, that box where our dead body keeps. It is very easy to talk to people into the coffins because they won't respond. To misspell their names on gravestones. If you misspell, if you incorrectly speaking, uttering their names, they won't respond. You can call any name. You can call male or female or with any bad name or any teasing name on the gravestones. They won't react, and people still wonder why there are boys rotting. Okay. So these are the things that they are suffering. They can't respond whenever people are misspelling them. Whenever people fails to understand them, they can't speak, they can't react, they have to keep mum. Still people are wondering why there are boys rotting, the body of boys or the dead body of the boys rotting after after committing suicide. Why boys are committing suicide? People still wondering. They have to undergo such and such sufferings still, and people are not taking care of them. Still they wonder what happened to these boys, why they are committing suicide. They go away in high school always. Whenever those boys reaches teenage or enters into high school, they are afraid of becoming another hashtag in a second, afraid of classroom discussions becoming like a judgment day. When at the time of teenage, their identification becomes more complicated. So other people in the class, other students in the class, they will be discussing about their body, their gender. They becomes an hashtag in a second, afraid of classroom discussions. And it is just like what a judgment day. They will be judging them. You are a girl, no, you are a boy, like that, with counting their appearance. And now oncoming traffic is embracing more transgender children than parents. And the coming traffic, it is embracing it embraces them more transgender children than their parents. I wonder how long it will be before the trans suicide notes start to feel redundant. Before the trans suicide notes start to feel redundant, it is superfluous, exceeding. People were not aware of the trans suicide, and to feel it is superfluous or something exceeding, something dangerous one. I wonder how long it will be before trans suicide notes start to feel something exceeding, something increasing before we realize that our bodies become lessons about sin. Even before that, they have to realize that their bodies are becoming lessons, stories, or chapters about sin, way before we learn how to love them. Even though they are identifying, when they becomes very at the early age, they are not able to love their body. Even before that, their parents or some people, close relatives, they will tell them, your body is not as like the common people, it is a sin, it is a part of that sin. So even before they realize how to love their body, they are getting the lessons of sin about their body. Like God didn't save all this breath and mercy, like my blood is not the wine that washed over Jesus' feet. So he's having some complaints towards God. God didn't save all this breath and mercy. He didn't show such breath and mercy towards trans people. Like my blood is not the wine. There is mythologically in the Bible, there is a story that Jesus' feet has been washed, purified with wine. So my blood is not the wine that washed over Jesus' feet. So my blood is not considered as something that can purify our sins. My prayers are now getting stuck in my throat. So it takes us into the starting of the poem, where Lee is standing now. She is there in the cathedral, in the church, and there she is praying, and she is just praying to fix herself into some gender. My prayers are now getting stuck in my throat. She's not able to pray. Maybe I'm finally fixed. Maybe the only possibility I'm finally fixed. Maybe after my prayer, I may be finally fixed. My gender might be fixed. Maybe I just don't care. Yeah, that is the answer. I don't care about the fixity of gender. I have to leave all such concern. Maybe God finally listened to my prayers. Yeah, she is with the hope that God finally listened to my prayers, because I got such a strength that I don't care about my identity.